So yeah, just approaching Bravo November, which is a VOR of Bovingdon. There is a little microlight strip there. I've not been there. I want to, another guy there. Hopefully one day I'll get in there.
Bovingdon is a well-known navigation landmark. For instrument traffic, it's the site of the Bravo November VOR radio navigation aid. One of the holding points and instrument initial approach fixes for London's Heathrow. And for VFR guys like me, it's a great visual point, useful for both planning your route by and for reporting your position to any radio service you may be tuned and talking to. What makes it this great visual navigation point is that as an ex-Royal Air Force station, it still maintains most of its old wartime runways, and although today aviation activities are almost non-existent, the site still looks like an airfield from above, and it's easy to spot and route by, giving you a great visual reassurance that with all the controlled airspace nearby, you're not anywhere you shouldn't be. Well, when I say aviation is pretty much non-existent, there is a small marked runway for microlight use on part of the original wartime cross runway. It is available for visiting aircraft, however only the marked runway of 0826 is active, and as with all these private airfields, you must obtain PPR or prior permission and a brief before visiting. Today we have it, and I'm bringing you along with me for my very first visit to the famous ex-RAF bomber base of Bovingdon Airfield. I'd just like to say a big thank you to aircraft101.com for sponsoring this episode. If you're in the market for a plane or helicopter, aircraft101.com make it simple to search and filter to find your perfect new aircraft. And you can use my discount code in the description below for £10 off your first listing too. It's been a really wild and windy morning at North Weald, with crosswinds and rain showers, but the weather is due to get calmer as the day progresses, so ever hopeful, I get Goopy pulled out of the hangar and start the pre-flight checks. But first, I'll have a quick look at the oil level. So, a little bit annoying, the oil's a little bit low on Goopy, and I need to get it topped up, but I haven't got any here, and I've just asked around and nobody else has got any. So, last chance. So frustrating. Just want to go flying. The wind's dropped a bit now, so it's not quite so funky. Here we go. Let's see if someone can help me out. Let's see if these have got any. So, yep, got a bottle of oil. Fantastic. We can go flying. Brilliant. I've managed to borrow a bottle of engine oil from my friends at the local maintenance facility. I didn't even have to pay. They just said I could replace it next time I'm around. We have plenty of oil that we buy in bulk, however it's up at Andrewsfield, the base for my Piper Sport, so borrowing and replacing was so much easier than having to drive up there just to get ours.
It's Golf, I've got Puppy Yankee on radio. Negative. It's blocking the taxiway. I'll see if I can raise him. Golf, Oscar Puppy Yankee. Oh yeah, sorry, what is there, someone behind me? I didn't see him. Okay, I'll move. Okay, thank you.
Got told off there for blocking the taxiway. Oops. Yeah, we don't have any mirrors on these things, so I didn't see behind me. So, yeah, wind's died down as it was expected to. It's a very light crosswind now. It was blowing quite a hoolie earlier this morning. It was gusting 28 knots across the runway. So, just a really short flight today. I think it's about 25, 26 miles. Not been to this place before. Got really good wartime history. We've not got much. I've got to be back before 1600, 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. as it's get dark, and the time now is 2:30.
So, as usual, I'm up against it time-wise due to waiting for the winds to calm down, then all that messing around trying to sort out that oil. But finally, I'm off.
And Golf Papa Yankee, Alpha 2 ready for departure. Golf Papa Yankee, roger, surface wind 230 degrees, 10 knots. Golf Papa Yankee. Golf Papa Yankee, returning today. Yeah, it's only to Bovingdon, it's only 25 25 miles away. Roger, thanks. You just going to the beacon, or are you actually landing there? No, landing there. Yeah, so, first time there, so yeah, landing there and then coming back. Roger, yeah, that's the IFR and me talking, just recognise it as a beacon, that's all. Yeah, the VOR is located there.
We accelerate briskly down the runway with a slight crosswind and climb out with some light rain on the canopy, but I can already see that the sky is brightening up to the west, which is exactly the direction we will be heading. Okay, so the route today has taken us out of North Weald's runway 20. We turned right, where I've had to stay low through the TMZ or the transponder mandatory zone. After which I'll climb up to about 1800 feet, where I'll head in a pretty much straight line westerly for 25 nautical miles to Bovingdon, being wary of the busy training airfield of Elstree and the controlled airspace to the north and south of my route.
That's North Weald Radio Golf Papa Yankee, well clear to the west, gonna continue en route. Golf Papa Yankee, Roger, have a good trip, bye bye. Bye.
We've still got a few miles to run now to Bovingdon, so let's have a look at the history of this most interesting destination. Bovingdon Airfield is situated near the little village of Bovingdon in Hertfordshire, around 17 miles to the north of Heathrow Airport and about 24 miles from the centre of London. Established as a grass airfield primarily used for recreational flying and gliding activities in the 1920s, it wasn't until World War II broke out that the RAF commissioned it and built 3 concrete runways and designated it as a standard RAF Class A airfield. The airfield became an important base for both the RAF and the United States Army Air Forces, 8th Air Force operating Boeing's workhorse bomber, the B-17 Flying Fortress. During World War II, several film stars were assigned at one time or another to the base, including Clark Gable, James Stewart and William Holden. It even housed General Eisenhower's personal B-17 during the war. Post-war, Bovingdon remained mostly under military control by both the RAF and the United States Air Force, although it did star as a set in many films including the 633 Squadron, Battle of Britain and Mosquito Squadron. The RAF left the airfield in 1972, although light aircraft have continuously used the airfield and continue to this day. The east side of the old main runway has been developed, however the west side remains pretty much as it was originally. Okay, we're back in the cockpit and just about to fly over Plaistows, the sketchiest little strip I've ever visited. I did a video about it and I'll link it at the end.
Plaistows below us. That's where I went when I was trying to get my nerve back. That is a bit tight for me. In fact, that's where my friend is based. Decent shower up ahead of us. Might get wet.
Even though the weather has settled down, there's a huge shower in the distance and it looks like it's heading my way. So as Bovingdon is a busy crossroads for transiting VFR traffic, I'd be a bit stupid to join the pattern via the standard overhead at 2,000 feet above airfield level. And anyhow, with the controlled airspace above me at 2,500 feet and the airfield being at 540 feet above mean sea level, this wouldn't even be possible. So I decided to fly down runway 26, then join the right hand circuit at 1,400 feet, which will give me a good look at the surface and any obstacles. I'll be announcing my position on the radio at all times.
Another aircraft over there. One thing you need to do, especially when you're visiting these places, at Hampstead's the same, they've got the Barkway VOR there, but these seem to be honeypots with the navaid on site. These are honeypots for everyone transiting the airspace, so it's probably better if you do an overhead join on these kind of places to not do it at a standard height, not do it at 2,000 feet above, in fact I'm not sure you can do it at 2,000 feet above ground level, but anyhow, yeah, better to just do it fairly low, and that way anyone transiting it hopefully will be above you. So coming up on it now, start thinking about my approach. It's runway 26, so we should be pretty much flying straight down it, but we'll properly identify it before we get as we get over it. There's some masts over there, identified. And the airfield is 540 feet above sea level.
It's quite hard to tell which of the runways is the marked one, as there's two that look both in good condition. However, as I weave about over the top of the airfield, I can see there are obstacles and equipment on the longer of the two, and the one below me is marked, but only partially.
Bovingdon traffic, Golf, Oscar, Papa Yankee, Sport Cruiser, in the low overhead Bovingdon.
That's it down there, the one that says PPR. So we can't fly over this place here, so we're going to start our turn. Can't fly over this little village at the end of the runway, so we're going to start our turn now to the right. The right hand circuit.
There we go, established on final, and with the prison to my left and one of the TV studios to fly over, it's all looking very nice indeed. Although this is the original RAF runway, it's actually an incredibly smooth surface. I've landed very short as it didn't look that long from final, probably because it's really wide. However, at a marked 500 metres or 1600 feet, it's plenty long enough for me.
That's quite smooth.
Although there's no facilities at the airfield, there is a lovely pub, the White Hart, that serves fantastic food, and it's less than a 5-minute walk away. I park up next to the old clubhouse, and as I get out of the aircraft, I noticed I've had a bit of an audience to judge my landing. Hello fellas! Hello! I've just flown in. What do you think of my landing? Did you think it was alright? No, you didn't. That's why you've got a long face, isn't it? Got a long face! Just as I'm having a look around, that rain shower from earlier has finally reached Bovingdon. So I seek shelter in the aircraft, but with sunset just 45 minutes away, I do need to get back to North Weald. It's still raining. Hasn't stopped yet. Been stuck in the aeroplane for the last 15 minutes, and I do need to get going soon. I mean, looking up there, looks like it is clearing. You can see the sun behind it now. Over there's not so good. But yeah, it's all going that way. But I'll give it another 10 minutes and then we'll be out of here. Okay, so sit here and twiddle my thumbs. Finally, the shower has gone through and I depart Bovingdon on the same runway I landed on. I turn right after departure and head east and back home. As I approach North Weald, there's another big shower, mainly over London, but the edge of it is in the way, so it's a quick plane wash as I fly through the curtain of rain that looks the lightest. With that wind now all but gone, I land on North Weald's runway 20 just as the sun sets over London. That little short grass strip we flew over at Plaistows is at the limit of my aircraft's performance and of my skill level, but I did manage to visit there in the summer and I'd love you to take a look. The video is right here. Fly safe and thank you so much for watching, and Shortfield out.
Wind's calm.